7:14. Mike is here for Monday's Minute Mechanic Moment.
Good morning, Dale.
Hey.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, you've been on vacation.
Well, yeah, we was in Denver, Colorado last week. And, for a boy that grew up in the hills, around hills and hollers of northern Arkansas, western Kansas is quite an experience.
You could see a thunderstorm coming for about 3 days.
Yeah, you got time to get ready.
There's a tornado warning, blah, 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 for western Kansas. Well, it'll be here about Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, we was out there for all of last week, and we rolled in here Saturday night about midnight, and I was glad to see my house.
Arkansas state line.
It's good to be back in your own bed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Uh-huh.
So, new experience, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Had you been out there before?
No, I had never been to Denver.
Really?
Nope, never had. And it was quite a time of it. We
to say I've been to Denver is kind of a white lie because I've been to Denver International Airport twice.
Right.
So to say I've been to Denver, well, if they move the official sign by the airport, yes, I've been to Denver. Other than that, I've been to DIA. So.
Yeah. No, it was a good trip. We had a lot of fun, and we went up into Rocky Mountain National Park, and it's just as breathtaking as everybody had always told me it was. It's just beautiful. We got up to 12,000 feet, and you need to start taking half steps.
And an oxygen tank.
Yeah. They had a gift shop up there, and one of the guys goes, I wonder if they sell oxygen. And my wife, of course I was in a class, but my wife and one of the guys that went on that trip the next day, they went up to Pikes Peak.
Mm.
And they were like at 14,000 feet up there, and I think that was an eye-opener for them, But it's just beautiful country, and I had a great time. We saw elk. We saw antelope standing on the side of the road. And elk stand there looking at you, basically,
Really?
within a reasonable distance. You don't want to get too close to one of them things,
Mm-hmm.
They'll run over you like a tank. But mountain goats.
Really?
Yeah. And everywhere out there, they what we call chipmunks, they call ground squirrels. And those things they're thick in that park, and they have learned that people feed them. So as soon as you get out of your truck, here they come. They're looking for a handout. And there was a little old boy sitting over there, and he had a little old bag of popcorn, and he had 10 of them sitting there looking at him, and he was feeding them. And yeah, we're back. Got to get back to work. You got to do something to pay for all this,
there
don't
you? Go.
Yeah.
Well, school starts tomorrow around the area. I think some of the schools start today in other parts of the state, but overall I think most schools will be starting tomorrow. And,
yes.
Of course, watch out for the school buses. We're going to have a little bit different traffic pattern now.
We've got to get settled back into a school time traffic pattern. In the mornings, things
Would
are going
you love to be on 201 South every morning with school?
Oh, it's tough.
They'll get it done.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's.
We had the mayor and Mr. Chili were here last week, and it'll be fine.
Yep.
Just got to be patient.
If we're patient, and when that thing's done, we're going to love it. And we got to get settled into these new school patterns. Buses are going to be all over the roads. We've not seen them in a while. We got kids out, some of them walking to school, some of them bicycling to school, some of them waiting to get on the bus, and we really need to be vigilant in what we do and pay attention.
Yep.
And as we saw signs, and Colorado was big time. They had these signs on the side of the road that would flash you some message about safe driving, and the one I saw most often was the steering wheel is not a hands-free device.
Talking about texting and driving.
Yeah.
Michelle Payton would love that one.
Yeah.
Sheila Wingard.
And, but yeah, we got to be careful. Watch what we're doing. I hope everybody's had a good summer of it.
A reminder, if the school bus is on the main drag through town, 62 business, all the way through town. We've said this a million times. If I'm going up the hill past Pizza Hut and the school bus is coming down the hill and happens to stop, perhaps in front of Kent Chevrolet, all lanes have to stop.
Yeah. Even if you're on the opposite lanes, as far away from each other as you can be, you still need to stop.
So
must stop. You'll get a ticket if you don't.
Yeah. If that bus is stopped with the flashing lights on, perhaps letting a child off to meet their parents at Kent Chevrolet, and you're going up the hill, perhaps on out towards Walmart, you have to stop.
Yes, you do.
5-lane highway, all traffic stops. So
yeah, and they will give you a very healthy ticket as a reminder if you're not careful.
Boy, you better have a chunk of gold in that bank vault.
Yeah, and it's dangerous, you know.
It is.
And, I can understand it, when you're on a 5-lane road like that, it would be easy not to see it or not be paying enough attention, whatever, or think it maybe in your own mind it was safe to go on and proceed because they're so far away from you over there. But state law says you got to stop.
Yep. And on the bypass, it's different. We've got the median, that's different. So,
Yep.
Anyway, talk a little car maintenance.
Yep.
Preventive maintenance. I got lucky with a fuel pump last week, 2 weeks ago.
It gave you a little bit of warning.
It gave me a warning, yeah. I had some things going on over around Cherokee Village, and I noticed my tachometer would just drop from 1,800 to almost zero and come back on with them. Interesting. Been getting a little bit of surging. Of course, I'm at 158,000 miles. I thought, well, I don't know. So put a little stuff in the tank. Maybe I thought I had an injector clogging up or something of that nature. No, wasn't it. Wednesday morning, 2 weeks ago, got in the vehicle. Uh-oh. 3 attempts. Finally, it started. Yes. By Thursday, when I dropped it off at Min Mechanic, it was just about
over. It was just about done with.
Yeah.
And, we got that thing in there and stuck
runs
you a
fine.
fuel pump in it, and I'm glad to hear it's doing well.
Yeah. So, preventive maintenance, that's why we talk about oil changes, transmission. Yes. You've got the motor vac machine for your
fuel injection
systems.
Well, and this trip to Denver was another example of that kind of stuff. One of the vehicles we took was a 2003 Ford F-250 with a diesel, and it has 60,000. And we did a little preventive maintenance on that truck, and that thing hammered along, and we drove all the way out there and all the way back with zero issues.
Yeah.
Truck ran great. The Jeep that we took, of course, it's a newer vehicle, but we checked it all out, checked fluids, filters, aired up the tires and all before we left. And we had no vehicle issues, knock on wood. We dodged a bullet, but we had no issues. And preventive maintenance and repair when it needs to be done, that's the best thing I have seen in all my years in this industry to get you to where you're going and back in one piece. Now, of course, little incidentals can happen along the way. You can't prepare for everything. It's just can't do it. And if that happens, it happens. But for the most part, I think if a person is pretty diligent about keeping their vehicle up, 100,000-mile car, we was on the road going across through there with a lot of older vehicles just plugging right along.
Well, when mine turned 100,000 miles, actually when it was at 103, I'm going to do plugs and wires. They were a factory, which I did. Then it turned 50,000, I did it again.
Right.
I'm thinking, you can run these plugs 100,000 miles. Well, that's fine, I can, but I don't want to. I think 50,000, it's worth the $75, $80, and it's not that hard of a job to put spark plugs and wires on. But I knew eventually that fuel pump was going to have to be changed. Now, rule of thumb, if you've got 150,000 plus and you've never had a fuel pump, would that not be a bad idea just to go ahead and get it done if you've got the funding to get it done? I mean, or are you going to, should we, if it's broke, don't fix it?
Well, I think it'll depend on the circumstances you're in, and how you feel about things. If you're at 170,000 miles and all you're driving is in and around this county, well, okay, roll. But if you got that kind of miles and you were going to go across country, that is an issue that you should consider. If money's not an issue and you like to kind of head things off at the pass, a fuel pump's never a bad idea when you get up north of 150,000 miles. That's where I bet 75% of the vehicles that we put fuel pumps in, they will be between 150 and 200,000 miles. Yeah. And that just seems to be a basic general rule of thumb.
Yeah. What about a water pump? Original water pump at 158,000.
Yeah.
If it works, don't fix it?
At this point in time, I'd say leave it alone, Absolutely. Water pump and stuff like that, probably let that alone. Just roll with it. But the fuel pump stuff, yeah, that's not a terrible idea, especially on long trips.
Yeah,
what will cost you $500 around here to have a fuel pump put in? When you get out in certain parts of this country, you can double, triple that fairly easily.
Don't you know?
Yep.
So they're going to see that out-of-state license plate, and they're going to.
Well, your options get limited rather quickly. When you're out on the road, you're at a lot of people's mercy. And
oh yeah.
I like to kind of control my own destiny on stuff like that. That's just me, though.
Yeah.
Now, we were busy this first week of August. at Minute Mechanic was probably the busiest week the place has ever had. It was just
really.
Oh yeah, man, it was busy. We were running from Monday morning at 8 o'clock till Friday night at 5 o'clock, just as hard as we could go.
Good.
And
man.
then it slowed down some last week. I was gone, and we were shorthanded one person, but we still had a very good week. And who knows what will happen this week with school going back in session. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. And sometimes the moms need a little time to decompress.
You think?
Yeah, they like to kind of take it easy.
Well, this is the good week, this week and next. I'm looking, this week is 17th through 21st for Monday through Friday, 24th through 28th next week.
Where's Labor Day at, Dale?
It's September 5th, I think. September 7th.
Yep.
Yep, September 7th. This is the time to start thinking about the Labor Day holiday.
Sure.
Don't wait until the last minute. Okay, that oil may need change. You may need to check the transmission fluid, check the tires, rotate the tires, check the brakes.
Sure.
Brake lights, blinkers, wipers. We haven't had any shower activity in a long time. Those wipers, if your car sits in that sunlight. A lot of people think, well, why would my wipers be bad? We haven't had rain in 3 weeks and it just sits on the parking lot. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Sun's hard on rubber. Sun's hard on everything. It's just like the paint on your car, the roof on your house, the siding. You know how it is. Paint or sun coming through the window on surfaces inside the house can discolor or fade it. Sun's hard on things. And those old wipers sitting out there on that windshield in the parking lot for all day long, they get baked. And, the rubber hardens up. Sometimes the ends, actually the wiping surface a lot of times is what we see starts to tear off, starting on the ends. And then next thing you know, you'll have steel from the arms or something rubbing on your windshield. And once it's scratched, it's scratched.
Yeah.
And wipers are cheap enough. You don't need to let that happen.
Yeah.
And Labor Day is one of those holidays that for us it's busier than normal, but it's not a real super busy holiday.
It's not a July 4th on a Friday.
No, it's not. It's not July 4th on Friday. And so, if people are planning a trip or something, give us a shout, and I'll bet we'll have time to get you in and get anything done that you want, get it taken care of. But again, we've got a couple of weeks or so till Labor Day, but.
Check those belts, belt tensioner, if so equipped, your hoses, we're
seeing some of these in Ford products, some of these stretch to fit belts coming along now. They don't have a stretch to fit. They don't have a tensioner, and they make a tool. We got a tool that you use and you roll the belt onto the pulleys.
Really?
Yeah. There is no tensioner.
Huh. No spring to break.
No, like a little Mazda 3, and probably since there's Mazdas and Fords are pretty connected at the hip, probably some of the little Fords are the same way. But we had to do an air conditioner compressor on a Mazda back a couple of months ago, and Dennis comes up here and goes, "Man, come here and take a look at this." I'd heard about stretch to fit belts, I just hadn't seen one.
Huh?
And that's what it was.
Stretch to fit.
Stretch to fit.
Interesting.
They make a tool that you roll the old one off with, and recommendations is you always put on a new one because that old one's been stretched. So you get you a new belt and you get you a tool that does the opposite, and you roll the belt up onto the pulley, and
wow,
that's it. You don't worry about it no more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Minute Mechanics located Highway 201 North across from Salvation Army. 425-3135 is their number. And looks like you've got plenty of time this week to get folks in.
We sure do. We got a full crew there today. Somebody's back from vacation, been laying around, not doing nothing. Yeah.
Climbing mountains in Colorado.
We're back and ready to roll. And if you need something, please give us a call.
All major brands of motor oil, top quality filters.
You name it. We got, man, again, we've talked about it all. Yeah, we've got a bunch of different kinds of motor oils. We've expanded somewhat our line of synthetic oils because we have been doing, in the last couple of years or so, the number of synthetic oil changes has increased big time. It's not just like a tick, it's a big increase. And we keep a lot of that stuff there now. We get, where we used to keep 2 or 3 of this or 2 or 3 of that, now we've got 6 or 8 of different kinds of different motor oils, yeah.
Give Mike and gang a call at 425-3135. They're on Highway 201 North across from Salvation Army. And that brings us up to news time. We'll be right back.